Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my studio. Welcome to episode 22 of Alex Likes to Knit. Today I have no finished object. I do have one of the socks done. I am going to join them. I have not looked into how to do that. I am excited for this one. It's going to be a little bit different. If you haven't been here in a while or you're new, I have been doing my knitting update every single week, and usually I have a finished pair of socks or something small, but today I have no finished objects and also no new cast-ons. So I'm just going to take you through all of my works in progress and just talk about each one of them and the progress. So might be a little bit of a quicker episode and pretty chill, but I'm excited to get into it. I'm recording this on Thursday, June 11th here in San Antonio, Texas. It is about 3:30 in the afternoon and it is 95 degrees outside. Pretty hot, but I'm staying inside and staying cozy in this sweater, which is like a lightweight cotton sweater. This is yarn that I got secondhand, and then it was my first sweater that I ever made, and because it's like cotton, linen, and a little bit of acrylic or something, it's very easy to like wash and everything, and I just wear it kind of like a sweatshirt. So I might take it off in a little bit, but I thought it'd be fun to wear it for a little bit. So let's talk works in progress. We will talk about my sock whips first. So I'm still working on both of the pairs of socks that I had started last week. So I will give you an update on those. I do have one of the socks done for my Beachy Stripes socks. This is just a plain vanilla sock in a self-striping yarn from knitpicks. This is one of the Fellicini colorways, the new Fellicini with like the really thin stripes, and I've used this a couple times now. I really like the sock yarn. I like that because the repeat is so small, it doesn't make like a super noticeable weird thing to just keep doing the heel in the stripes. Like it does disturb like the pattern, but like it's just not that bad. See how you have like less of the dark on this stripe? It's just not a big deal, and I think that that's fun to just have the stripes going like all the way through and not have to worry about doing contrast color or anything. So I finished this sock, and then I'm working on the second sock. I have my cuff done, and I just started the leg on this. So this is my only plain vanilla like single skein thing that I have going right now, so it is getting quite a bit of work, but I have been at home working on my Scrappy projects and working on my other pair of socks that's more involved, and so I was like probably close to this amount on the first sock last week, so yeah, just one vanilla sock this week, which it's like, I don't know, I think for a little bit I was like, oh, that's kind of disappointing because I love like finishing socks every week. But I think it's actually kind of exciting because I made more progress on more like other projects, which are kind of like can be more fun to talk about anyway. So yeah, got these vanilla socks. These are going to be for someone in my family for Christmas. And yeah, I made them for my size, and I'll put the stitch counts and everything and my gauge information in the description box if you're interested on the specific sizing for my vanilla socks. It's down there. What else? Okay, my next work in progress is my other pair of socks. So I made some good progress, in my opinion, on this pair. Again, I had these last time. This is a texture pattern called the Surf Wax Socks by Summerlee. And I had just done part of the leg and kind of gotten my stitch pattern established. No, that's not true. I had done the heel because this is where I was. My little pretzel. My little pretzel marker is where I was. So I was in the gusset last week, and so I have not done very much on this. I lied. I've only gotten from here to here, but that's okay. I think I'm getting a little bit tired of the stitch pattern. I definitely have it memorized at this point. I don't need to like look at the book anymore, but I think I'm just kind of, I'm like a little bit over it. I'm still gonna do both of the socks. It just might take me a little while, which is, you know, it's not really a big deal. If I finish this sock and I just don't feel like doing the second sock, I have no problem putting it on hold and doing another pair and coming back to this at some point. Yeah, especially with things that are kind of more involved, like with texture, or it's just a single color and it feels plain. I will finish one sock and then maybe make another pair and come back to this. I've done that before and I trust that I will do it. Even if I didn't and I just had let this be a single sock, it wouldn't matter. But I do really like the finished product. I think these are really cool looking, so I want to have them and I want to give them to someone. I've just been making slow progress on them because the stitch pattern is a little bit tedious. But the yarn for this one is also knitpicks yarn. So this main color is Stroll Tonal. Yeah. Stroll Tonal, I don't know the colorway name or the number, but it's just like their lime green. And then this pop of color at the top is from my Ruby and Roses 2023 Advent. I just thought it'd be fun to do something different at the top, so I did a pop of blue. I was thinking I would do a pop of blue at the toe, but now I'm thinking I might not. I might just let the whole rest of the sock be lime green. So yeah, Surf Wax socks in Stroll Tonal. And I definitely want to finish this sock before next week, which I think is definitely doable. And then I'll just kind of see where I'm at with if I want to cast on the second one right now or not. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. So there's the two socks. See, this is like pretty quick, just like a fun little update. Oh, this is good news. So my third work in progress is something that has been kind of in hibernation, because you may remember a few weeks ago I was working on the Tolsta tee. It's actually really funny how similar this looks to this sweater that I'm wearing. This is a Tolsta tee. I was on the bottom ribbing. This is still on a cable. I was on the bottom ribbing. I had not done any sleeves yet. My sleeves are on hold here. And I ran out of yarn. And I went to Joann because I had bought, let me show you the yarn that I'm using for this. This is a hand-dyed 100% cotton fingering weight yarn. This is a DK weight pattern. So I had tried making this top holding this double, but I didn't actually have enough yardage holding it double, so it was too cropped and the sleeves were too short, and it being 100% cotton, I just didn't like the way it was falling. So I looked at Joann for something to hold with it, and I found Kobu. So I bought 2 skeins of this and was holding these together to, in hopes, have like 2 skeins of DK. But yeah, that still wasn't enough yardage, so then I needed a third. And I went back to Joann and they didn't have this color anymore. And I was just like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to order it. I'll just kind of wait and see if I can find it. Maybe at like somewhere else in town. I think like Walmart sometimes has Kobu and stuff like that. So it's like, it's fine. We'll put it on hold. But then like 2 weeks ago, I saw that they had Kobu on the Joann website, because I was doing some research to see if anywhere in town had it where I could go pick it up. Joann had it just online to ship it to you, but it was discounted and the shipping was only $1.99. So it was like $6 to order this and get it shipped to me. So I was like, okay, I need to just do that and just finish up this project. So I have not put this back on the needles and started knitting it again, but now that I have my yarn, I'm very close to being done with this. So I'm thinking for next week, I will have this done and be wearing it. It's a Tolsta tee. And now everyone is talking about the Tolsta tank that just came out, and it's so cute. And I think if there's anything that I am going to cast on as like a summer top for the rest of the summer, it's going to be the Tolsta tank. It's so cute. I love like a lot of the different options. So I'd say it's definitely worth me buying the pattern. So I'm definitely thinking about doing that. Maybe in like a cheaper commercial yarn, like maybe in the Kobo, getting like a different color and doing the tank, doing like the vest version where it's like, it just has like little baby scoop neck and then is sleeveless. Like how my stripy turtle tank kind of comes up a little bit too much in the front. That just having a little bit of a more kind of like normal instead of like turtleneck neckline. I think I'd really like that. So the idea of having this finished and off the needles is making me think that at some point in the next few weeks, I will want to cast on another summer top. We'll see, but the update is just that I got yarn and I'm going to be working on this again. That's really it. And I like green. The hand-dyed yarn that I showed, I don't think you can get this color anymore. It's in little balls because I had to frog it. But this is from Fleur de Stitched in Baton Rouge, and the base is called Lanyap, and it's her fingering weight 100% cotton. And I bought this in the fall at DFW Fiberfest. So that was 3. I have 2 more works in progress, and they are my 2 Scrappy blankets. And I kind of talked about both of these last week as well, so I'm just going to give you a little update. So I'm working on the Excavation blanket, and this is what I have now. My marker here, it's a little cow. That is where I was last week, and so the rows are getting a little bit longer and it's going a little bit slower, but I'm definitely still really enjoying it, and I still really like my color palette here. I've run out of like one of the colors, so I'm just still making stripes with the colors that I have, and I think that like the ones that I have these small balls of, I'll run out and then I'll just be striping these for a while until I make something else and start adding in a new color. I think that it has a very organic and flowing like look to the stripes. It reminds me of like a temperature blanket. So yeah, it's fun also to like just to look at it and pick what color I'm gonna put in next is kind of entertaining to me. So yeah, it's just a super simple project. I probably won't show this all the time. I also might not work on it very much this coming week, but I just wanted to give you an update that I'm still really liking this. And it's if you wanted to do something similar, it's the Excavation blanket. I can't remember the designer, I'll put it on the screen, but that pattern is written for fingering weight yarn, but I wanted to use up my DK and worsted weight leftovers, because these are stuff that I have left over from sweater, vest, hat, dog sweater projects. So these I can't put into my fingering weight Scrappy projects, which I'll show next. So I wanted to start something to where I could use them all together, and I thought this would be good to kind of even out the gauge of them all being slightly different gauges. So I'm following the directions for that pattern, but I cast it on with a size US 7 needle, and I'm liking the texture and the like density and everything of it. And I am going to cut the fringe probably to about 2 or 3 inches. I'm not exactly sure. I do kind of want to see how big I decide to make the blanket, because I think I want the fringe to be like in proportion with the blanket. Like if it ends up being really small, because I could decide that I'm over this, like kind of cut it off while it's fairly small and let like my dog use it or something, and then I would do like really short fringe. But if it's a really large blanket, then it could have fairly long fringe and like still be cute. So yeah, I'm just leaving it all pretty long for now. I'm just leaving my tails at least like 6 inches so that I have room to go and like cut them really even at the end. That will be satisfying. Yeah, so that's it for that one. Let me move my marker. Okay, the last work in progress that I'm going to talk about is my granny square blanket. And I have made some progress on this. I am proud of myself. So last week I just showed I have this bag and I have all of these squares in it. These are the ones that I held up last time. So in here, I don't know why I thought it was 30. It's not 30. This is 23 squares. So I was like, okay, well, I need to get to 30. So I've done 8 more and I'm now at 31. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you all the colors that I did this week of my little squares. I'll throw them in that bag and then we'll see what we're at next week. So I did these 2 in the same color. I just had a little ball that was just enough to make 2. This is from my Ruby and Roses Advent. And I had used these as a contrast color for socks. Then I had like 10 grams left or something, so did 2 with that one. This is the red orange that I used for my Sedona socks that I made. I still have a lot left of this, so I'll probably use this for another pair of socks at some point, but let's do one of that. This is actually the contrast color at the top of my surf wax socks that I showed. I just went ahead and did one with that color too. This is from my Ruby and Roses Advent. Also, I used this as a contrast color in socks and had some left over. This is one from the Ruby and Roses Advent, and I wound this up because I was going to use it as a contrast color in socks and then decided not to, so I just had 20 grams wound up. And then this is a bright yellow. This was from those Mardi Gras socks that I made, if you remember that. And yeah, I just still have that caked up. I still have a lot of it, and I think it's a summery color, and I want to find a way to use it for a summer pair. But yeah, that one's been on my mind. And then one more Ruby and Roses colorway. This one was one of the contrast colors in the socks that I made for my dad recently. So now in my little bag, I have 31. And I mentioned, let me give the details too on my squares. I realized I haven't been doing that. So for each of my little squares, I have this one crochet hook that I got from my yarn store. It's a clover hook with a little grippy on it. And this is a size D 3.25 millimeter crochet hook. And to make my granny squares, I do it the regular way. I don't chain one in between my little bubbles. I started doing that because someone said that they did that and I felt like they were really gapey before. So don't chain one between my bubbles. I only chain 2 at the corners instead of 3. And then I do 5 rounds for each of my squares. I don't know yet how I am going to join them. I have not looked into how to do that, but I'm going to figure it out. I was talking to a knitter that I met recently, and I was like, oh yeah, I use all my sock scraps. I'm making a crochet granny square blanket, so I have a bunch of granny squares. And she was basically like, not being mean or anything, but she was like, yeah, you're never going to have a blanket. You're only going to have the granny squares. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to have the blanket. Like, it's just something about that. I was like, felt kind of defensive about it. And I was like, no, I'm going to make this blanket. So that kind of motivated me to work on it. And I had set that goal last week of eventually getting 100 before I buy my joining color. So we'll see. Maybe this week I can do 8 or 10 again and just keep making progress on it. That'd be great if I did 9 and then I was at 40. That would be a good happy number to be at for next week. But yeah, I'll try to, whenever I do work on this, I'll show you my squares that I'm adding and keep you updated on how many I have. And that's it. That's all the knitting. So I was right. It was a quick episode. yeah, like I said, I'm working on the same stuff I was working on last time, but I'm still really enjoying it. And I am like feeling like I want to cast on something new, but it's not like, I still don't want to buy yarn. So I'm still thinking about what can I do to make some interesting socks with the yarn that I already have. I have some little bundles of Scrappy socks pulled out, as well as I still have like combinations that will make Christmassy socks, because I'm still thinking about building up my little stash of socks that I'm going to give to my family and friends for Christmas. So I'm thinking next, whenever I finish the Beachy Stripes socks, which they're the Fellicini colorway, yeah, I'm thinking whenever I finish that, I'm gonna do a Christmas pair that's like still super easy, but maybe like I might do the Hermione's favorite sock pattern or something like that, like something that has just a little bit of texture that's not gonna like be annoying like the other ones that I'm making, but just to make them like a little bit festive. I have a bright red that's kind of what I'm thinking I'll do next, is do a bright red and then do either like a white accent or a green accent to make them really Christmassy, or both. Yeah, that's what's up next. So my goal for next week is finish the Tolsta tee, finish my stripy socks, and finish that first one of my surf wax socks, and make 9 granny squares. So that is totally doable. We'll see what I get up to after that, because I don't know exactly what I'll be casting on, working on after that. But yeah, that's about it. A little bit of an art update in case you're interested. Like I say all the time, I am an artist here in San Antonio, Texas, so I do a lot of in-person events. I'll go to markets and sell my work and things like that. So I've been doing more this month than I have been in the past, and it's going pretty well. This past Friday, I did the First Friday market in Southtown, San Antonio, and it went pretty well. I met some people and sold like a good amount of stuff, and everyone was just super nice, and it was a good experience. So after that, I have a painting workshop coming up. It's on June 16th, so on Father's Day, on Sunday. I am doing a workshop with Spare Parts in San Antonio from 3 to 6. It's going to be a still life session. So we're going to kind of make a circle, set up a still life like thing, like set up objects in a still life thing in the middle of the room, and then all paint or draw it from our perspective, from like the circle. And then I'm going to kind of just go around and give people like guidance and tips, help people get started, that kind of thing. So that's a ticketed event if you want to join me for that. I'll put a link to find more information and everything of that in the description. And yeah, that's really it. If you are looking for me on social media or online, I'm Alex Hayes Chapel pretty much everywhere, on Instagram and YouTube, as well as my website is alexhayeschapel.com if you want to buy my prints or see more of my paintings. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. This was a fun, quick one, and I'm excited to see what else we get done for next week. I hope that you have a really great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!